Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially the 2023 presidential election. You must have heard that the All Progressive Congress has released the list of members of the campaign council of the party, and that the names of the vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, the name of the secretary to the federal government, Boss Mustafa, and the name of the former secretary to the federal government, Babashir Lawal, and that of Yakubu Dogara were missing from the list. So that has created a lot of buzz in the country and in the media. Initially, when the list came out, many Nigerians did not take it serious because they don't really care about who appeared and who didn't appear until the spokesman of the presidential campaign council of the People's Democratic Party, that's spokesperson of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Dan Nebowala, shared on his Twitter handle his position on the list, where he congratulated the Vice President and Boss Mustafa for shunning membership of the campaign council on principle in opposition to Muslim tickets. So that created a lot of opportunity for the media to bounce on to take advantage of this story and run with it. So it was on the papers, and the APC was forced to respond. And the APC responded through his spokesman, the spokesperson of the APC campaign council and Minister of Labor and Productivity, Festus Keyamo. Festus Keyamo issued a statement in response to what Daniel Boale said, and made his position clear that Osinbajo and Boss Mustafa was excluded because so that the business of government or governance will not suffer. That was the reason they gave. They didn't bother to explain why. Of course, everybody would have known the reason why Babashir Lawal and the Yakubu Dogara couldn't make the list, because these were very vocal in their opposition to Muslim tickets, which already they have made it clear they are working against. So it would have been unnecessary and uncalled for to include such a person in your campaign council. So that's the way it is. But this has raised a lot of questions, especially the response by the APC campaign council. It raised a lot of questions, and those questions is what I'm going to answer in this video, and to show the real reason why Osinbajo decided to keep away from the APC presidential campaign council. And first of all, if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. First of all, by saying that Osinbajo was excluded so that the business of government will suffer, will not suffer, is standing logic on his head. Because Osinbajo contested to be the presidential candidate of APC. If he had won, does it mean that Osinbajo will not have campaigned for himself? And that if he campaigned for himself, the business of governance will suffer? That's the question that Festus Keyamo need to answer. Because they should not take Nigerians for a ride that Osinbajo didn't make the list because of the business of governance will suffer. Why is it that the business of governance is not suffering since Festus Keyamo left his beat and been doing media runs all over the country and all over the media houses? So he's like standing logic on his head. If Osinbajo had gotten the ticket, Osinbajo would have campaigned vigorously for himself, and he would not have said that he will not campaign for himself, because if he campaigned for himself, the business of governance will suffer. It doesn't make sense. And I'm sure APC people, they know it. They just conjure that up because they need to say something after Daniel Boala came up with that his position on it. Then another thing that needs to be taken care of is this. There are some things that Osinbajo cannot tolerate as a reasonable man. Look, Osinbajo traversed the whole of this country, meeting delegates in all the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. And the business of governance did not suffer. It is now that he may not even play much role. It is just to appear once in a while like President Obasanjo, like President Muhammad Buhari on state rallies, that the business of governance will suffer. Even that of Boss Mustafa, I didn't buy it. We all know the role that Anipaya Osanyim, as secretary to the federal government, played in the campaign of Goodluck Jonathan. Nobody complained that the business of governance will suffer because Anyim was on the campaign trail. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. They need to come up with a better reason. But I have the real reason, and this is why I'm making this video. The real reason Osinbajo kept off, as far as I can read the political barometer and the conduct of Osinbajo and this presidential election, is that Tinubu ran, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ran a campaign of calumny against Osinbajo, using his newspaper, The Nation, and their columnists. They wrote so many unprintable things about Osinbajo. They call him Judas Iscariot. They call him betrayer. I will put a link under this video to the kind of words that Tinubu sanctioned to be used against Osinbajo in his newspaper. And those are words that could not have been allowed to appear in print if they doesn't have the approval of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So why will Osinbajo be happy with that? You didn't run Osinbajo out of the race by issues. He was run out of the race through a campaign of calumny. It was because of the kind of campaign that Tinubu ran, accusing his Tinubu supporters were using the media to accuse Osinbajo of being a Muslim hater, just to curry the favor of northern Muslims. They say Osinbajo is a Muslim hater. He doesn't employ Muslims in his law chambers as a private law practitioner. Even as the Vice President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, he don't have Muslims in his office. But these were all lies from the pit of hell. This forced Osinbajo to publish the list of people working in his office, many of them Muslims. And in any case, many of the people working in Osinbajo's office were employed by Buhari himself, because they were employed in the office of the presidency and then seconded to the office of the vice president. But they ran a campaign of calumny against Osinbajo, that he's a Muslim hater, that he doesn't like Muslims, he doesn't employ Muslims. Why was that necessary? Because Tinubu wanted to use Islam as a pathway for him to capture the hearts of northern Muslims. And these were the northern Muslims that were angling to become vice president to Yemi Osinbajo if he emerges the presidential candidate of APC. Tinubu supporters did all these things to Osinbajo. Osinbajo can't forget these things easily. So when you run this kind of campaign of calumny, and also you use Osinbajo as your guinea pig to test Muslim ticket, because the whole idea of Muslim ticket was because of Osinbajo. Because Osinbajo was in a pole position to emerge the APC presidential candidate. In terms of credibility, he's better than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In terms of soundness, he's better than Tinubu. In terms of academic qualification, he's better than Tinubu. In all round, in terms of presentation as a president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, he's better than Tinubu. But they ran him out of town, and he came a distant third in the primary, because they ran a campaign of religious division against him, spearheaded by Tinubu and his supporters. That was how Osinbajo, that ought to be the presidential candidate of APC, was pushed aside. In a decent society, Vice President Osinbajo ought to have been given the right of first refusal. In fact, there wouldn't have been any need for APC primary. It would have been on Osinbajo's own to decide whether to run or not to run, before we talk about any other person running. That is what is done all over the world, especially in presidential systems. In America, under George Bush Jr., Dick Cheney, the reason why he was offered a right of first refusal, Dick Cheney refused the ticket because his health was failing. He was old. He said he would not run. When Barack Obama was leaving, he wanted Joe Biden to be the vice presidential candidate. Of course, it was his right to refuse. But Joe Biden refused the offer because he got the right of first refusal. He refused the offer. And the reason he gave was because he just lost his son at that time. He was still mourning his son, who was a veteran in the American Army. When Bill Clinton was leaving, Al Gore, his vice presidential candidate, his vice president, was given the right of first refusal, and Al Gore took it. Of course, he eventually lost the election. But the important thing is he was given the right of first refusal. Who better to defend the legacy of President Muhammad Buhari than Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who is an insider? But Tinubu used religion, which is going to make or mar this presidential election in 2023, to grab the presidential ticket of APC. Today, religion has come to the center of this 2023 election. All thanks to Tinubu. And why was that so? Because he needed to use religion to push out Osinbajo. And now they'll come and tell you that religion doesn't matter. It is competence. And you're telling me that Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu is more competent than Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Please, you have to tell us another story. So that's my take on the real reason why Yemi Osinbajo kept away. Because there's no point coming out to campaign for a man who ran such a despicable campaign of calumny against your person. And you now come out to mount the rostrum to tell the nation that he is the best man for the job. I think Osinbajo, as a pastor, his conscience will not allow him to do that. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel, anytime I have a new video, you will be among the first to know. God bless you.